The crunch of metal and shriek of brakes shattered the quiet morning as Zara Winters slammed her sleek Audi into the battered pickup truck at the intersection. She gripped her steering wheel in shock, her knuckles white against the leather, watching steam rise from the crumpled hood of her luxury vehicle. This was not how the CEO of Winters Innovation Technologies had planned to start her Wednesday. Across the intersection, Wade Russell stared through his truck's now spider-webbed windshield, his heart hammering in his chest. The construction tools in his passenger seat had scattered across the floor, and the lunch he'd packed for his 6-year-old daughter's field trip later that day was now splattered across his dashboard. "Emma," he whispered, glancing at his watch. He had exactly 45 minutes to get his daughter to school before her class left for the museum. This accident was the last thing he needed. Zara stepped out of her car, her designer heels clicking against the pavement as she assessed the damage. The front of her Audi was destroyed, but the pickup truck looked even worse. Its already dented body had crumpled further, the front axle visibly bent. Wade pushed his door open with his shoulder, the metal groaning in protest. He climbed out, running a hand through his dark hair, his work boots hitting the ground with a heavy thud. "Are you okay?" Zara asked, approaching him with her phone already in hand. Wade nodded, trying to hide his frustration. "Fine, but my truck isn't." "I'm so sorry," Zara said, genuinely contrite despite her businesslike demeanor. "I was distracted. I'll call my insurance company right away. They'll take care of everything." Wade glanced at his watch again. "Look, I don't have time for this right now. I need to get my daughter to school for a field trip." Zara looked from his damaged truck back to her own car. Neither vehicle was going anywhere. "Where do you need to go?" she asked. "I can call you a car service." "By the time it gets here, she'll miss the bus," Wade said, already pulling out his phone to call Emma's school. Zara's assistant chose that moment to call. "Miss Winters, your 9 a.m. with the board is starting. Should I inform them you'll be delayed?" Wade's eyes widened at the mention of her name, and he looked at her more carefully. The tailored suit, the expensive watch, the air of authority. This was Zara Winters, the tech mogul whose face graced the cover of last month's business magazine. "Reschedule it, Leah," Zara said firmly. "I've been in an accident. No, I'm fine, but I won't be in this morning." She hung up and turned to Wade. "I have a solution. My driver is nearby. He can take you and your daughter wherever you need to go." Wade hesitated. "I don't need charity, Miss Winters. It's not charity," Zara replied. "It's my fault your truck is damaged. The least I can do is make sure your daughter doesn't miss her field trip." 20 minutes later, Zara found herself in the back of her company car with Wade and a wide-eyed 6-year-old girl clutching a purple backpack. "Are you a princess?" Emma asked, staring at Zara's polished appearance. Zara smiled, her professional facade softening. "No, just someone who made a mistake this morning and hit your dad's truck. Daddy says mistakes are okay as long as we fix them," Emma said, swinging her legs. Wade looked embarrassed. "Emma, Miss Winters is very busy." "Actually," Zara said, "my schedule just cleared up." She extended her hand to the little girl. "I'm Zara." "I'm Emma Russell. I'm 6 3/4, Emma replied, shaking Zara's hand with surprising formality. Wade watched the interaction with curiosity. The woman from the magazine covers and news reports seemed different in person, less intimidating, more human. After dropping Emma off at school, an awkward silence filled the car as they headed back to the accident scene. "You have a wonderful daughter," Zara said, breaking the silence. Wade smiled, genuine warmth spreading across his face. "She's everything to me." "She mentioned it's just the two of you," Wade nodded. "Her mom left when Emma was 2. She wasn't ready for the responsibility." Zara felt a pang of sympathy. That must be difficult, balancing everything alone. "We manage," Wade said simply. "I work construction during the day, and I'm building my own contracting business on the side. It's slow going, but it'll be worth it to set my own hours, be there for Emma more." "That's admirable," Zara said, and she meant it. When they returned to the accident site, the tow trucks had arrived. Zara handed Wade her business card. "My insurance will cover everything, including a rental until your truck is fixed, but please call me directly if there are any issues." Wade took the card, his calloused fingers brushing against hers. Thank you for your help with Emma. Of course, Zara replied, feeling an unexpected flutter in her chest. As Wade walked away to speak with the tow truck operator, Zara found herself watching him. There was something compelling about the single father with the gentle eyes and determined spirit. 2 days later, Zara was reviewing quarterly projections when her assistant interrupted. Miss Winters, there's a Wade Russell here to see you. He doesn't have an appointment, but he's quite insistent. Zara's heart skipped. Send him in. Wade entered her office, looking out of place in his work jeans and flannel shirt among the sleek, modern decor. He carried a small paper bag. Mr. Russell, this is a surprise, Zara said, rising from her desk. I wanted to thank you properly, Wade said, setting the paper bag on her desk. Emma insisted we bring you these. Inside the bag were homemade chocolate chip cookies, slightly misshapen but smelling delicious. We baked them last night, Wade explained. Emma wanted to thank the nice lady who helped her get to the dinosaur museum. Zara smiled, touched by the simple gesture. That's very sweet of her. How was the field trip? She hasn't stopped talking about it, Wade said, his face lighting up. She's determined to become a paleontologist now. Zara gestured to the sitting area in her office. Do you have time for coffee? You could tell me all about the dinosaur obsession. Wade hesitated, then nodded. I have my lunch break now, actually. Over coffee, Zara found herself captivated by Wade's stories about Emma, her science projects, her determination to learn to read chapter books, her elaborate bedtime ritual that involved checking for monsters in exactly 5 places. She sounds incredible, Zara said, realizing she'd been smiling for the entire conversation. She is, Wade agreed. What about you? Any kids? Zara shook her head. No time. Building this company has been my baby for the last decade. And quite an impressive baby it is, Wade said, looking around the expansive office with its view of the city skyline. It's fulfilling work, Zara said, but sometimes I wonder what I've sacrificed for it. Wade nodded, understanding in his eyes. Different kinds of fulfillment, I guess. Speaking of work, I should get back to my site. As he stood to leave, Zara found herself reluctant to end their conversation. How's the truck situation? The insurance adjuster called yesterday, Wade said, his expression darkening. They're totaling it. The frame was already weak and the accident finished it off. I'm sorry, Zara said, genuinely remorseful. Will the payout cover a replacement? Wade sighed. Barely a down payment on something reliable. That truck was old but paid for. I was hoping to avoid car payments until my business was more established. Zara walked him to the elevator, an idea forming in her mind. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Wade's expression turned proud. We'll be fine, but thank you. After he left, Zara found herself thinking about Wade and Emma throughout her afternoon meetings. That evening, instead of her usual late night at the office, she left early and made a detour. The used car lot on the edge of town wasn't a place Zara Winters typically frequented, but she spent 2 hours with the manager, inspecting trucks and negotiating prices. By the time she left, she had purchased a 5-year-old Ford pickup in excellent condition, reliable, but not so new that it would offend Wade's pride. The next morning, Zara arrived at Wade's modest single-story home just as he was leaving for work. His borrowed rental car sat in the driveway. Wade stopped short when he saw her standing beside the blue truck parked at the curb. What's this? He asked, approaching cautiously. A proper solution, Zara said. My insurance company wasn't being fair with their valuation of your truck. I spoke with them, and this is the replacement they should have offered. Wade's eyes narrowed. Did they actually agree to this, or are you covering the difference? Zara met his gaze steadily. Does it matter? Your truck was destroyed because I wasn't paying attention. This makes it right. It matters to me, Wade said. I don't want to be indebted to you. You're not, Zara insisted. Consider it the cost of my carelessness. Emma appeared in the doorway, her school backpack already on. Is that our new truck? She called, running down the driveway. It's blue. Blue is my favorite color. Wade looked from his excited daughter to Zara, conflict evident in his expression. I can't accept this. Zara leaned closer, speaking softly. You can pay me back by letting me take you and Emma to dinner sometime. As friends, Wade's expression softened. Friends. For now, Zara said, surprising herself with her boldness. Dinner became a regular occurrence over the next few weeks. Zara found herself looking forward to these evenings more than any business success. They went to family-friendly restaurants where Emma could color or play in designated areas while the adults talked. Zara learned that Wade had been working construction since high school, saving to start his own contracting company specializing in eco-friendly renovations. He showed her photos of his work on his phone, beautiful, thoughtful designs that blended functionality with sustainability. "You have a real talent," Zara told him one evening as they sat at a pizza place, watching Emma play at the restaurant's small arcade. "Have you considered applying for business loans to expand faster?" Wade shrugged. "Banks aren't eager to lend to someone with my financial history. I had medical debt after Emma was born, her mom wasn't insured, and there were complications. What about investors?" "I've approached a few, but most want too much control or too large a stake," Wade explained. "I'd rather grow slowly than lose my vision for the company." Zara nodded, respecting his principles even as her business mind calculated ways to help. Smart. Integrity matters in business. As they left the restaurant, Emma slipped her small hand into Zara's, a gesture that made Zara's heart swell. She glanced at Wade, who was watching them with a soft expression that made her pulse quicken. Later that night, after dropping them at home, Zara sat in her quiet penthouse apartment, looking out at the city lights. For the first time in years, her home felt lonely rather than peaceful. The following week, Wade called Zara with an unexpected invitation. "Emma's school is having a father-daughter dance Friday night, but she's been asking if you could come too," he said, sounding slightly nervous. "She says it's not fair that only dads get to bring the girls." "I told her it's probably not your thing, but I'd love to come," Zara interrupted, surprising both of them. Friday evening found Zara helping Emma get ready, carefully braiding the little girl's hair while Wade watched from the doorway of the small bathroom, a tender expression on his face. "You look like a real princess now," Zara told Emma, who twirled in her purple dress. "So do you," Emma replied earnestly. Wade stepped forward, his eyes on Zara. "She's right." Zara felt herself blush, suddenly conscious of how different this felt from the business galas she usually attended. Here, in this modest home with its mismatched furniture and walls covered in Emma's artwork, she felt more herself than she had in years. At the elementary school gym decorated with paper streamers and fairy lights, Zara stood awkwardly at first, uncertain of her place. But Emma proudly introduced her to her teachers and friends as "my dad's special friend who fixed our truck and knows how to braid hair." During a slow song, Emma insisted that Wade dance with Zara. Standing together on the gymnasium floor, surrounded by fathers and daughters, Wade placed his hands hesitantly on Zara's waist. "Is this okay?" he asked. Zara nodded, slipping her arms around his neck. "More than okay." As they swayed to the music, Zara realized she was falling in love not just with Wade, but with the life he represented. One filled with homemade cookies and bedtime stories, where success was measured in a child's smile rather than stock prices. When Wade drove her home that night, Emma asleep in the back seat, he walked Zara to her door. "Thank you for coming," he said softly. "It meant a lot to Emma." "And to you?" Zara asked, her heart pounding. Wade's gaze was intense. "More than I can say." He leaned forward slowly, giving her time to pull away, but Zara met him halfway. The kiss was gentle but filled with promise, sending warmth through her entire body. "I should go," Wade whispered against her lips. "Emma's waiting," Zara nodded, understanding. "Call me tomorrow." "Count on it," he promised. The next morning, Zara made a decision. She called her company's investment division and set up a new program for small business development, specifically targeting eco-friendly construction startups. It wasn't charity, it was smart business that aligned with her company's sustainability goals. Wade was the perfect first candidate, though she decided not to tell him about her involvement just yet. The program would evaluate his business plan on its merits, not their personal connection. 2 weeks later, Wade received the call offering him funding. He immediately drove to Zara's office, his expression a mix of excitement and suspicion when he entered. "Did you do this?" he asked without preamble. Zara met his gaze evenly. I created the program, yes. But an independent committee reviewed applications. Your business plan was selected because it's solid, innovative, and aligns with our corporate values. Wade paced the office. I don't want special treatment, Zara. You're not getting any, Zara insisted. If anything, the committee scrutinized your application more carefully because I disclosed our relationship. You earned this, Wade. He stopped pacing, studying her face. Our relationship, Zara felt suddenly vulnerable. That's how I think of it, what we have. Wade's expression softened. Me too. He crossed the room, taking her hands in his. I just don't want people thinking I'm with you for your connections or money. Anyone who knows you would never think that, Zara said. You're the most principled person I've ever met. Wade pulled her close, kissing her with more intensity than before. Thank you for believing in me. Over the next 6 months, Wade's business began to grow. He hired 2 employees and secured contracts for several high-profile eco-renovation projects. Zara found herself spending most weekends at Wade's home, helping Emma with homework, joining them for movie nights, or working alongside Wade as he made improvements to the house. One Sunday afternoon, as Wade and Zara planted a vegetable garden in the backyard while Emma supervised from her swing set, Zara realized she hadn't been to her penthouse in over a week. Her clothes had gradually migrated to Wade's closet. Her favorite coffee mug now permanently resided in his kitchen cabinet, and she knew exactly which floorboards creaked in the hallway. I think I'm living here, she said suddenly, sitting back on her heels in the dirt. Wade looked up, a seedling in his hand. I was wondering when you'd notice. Emma called from the swing. Does that mean you're staying forever? Zara looked from Emma to Wade, her heart full. I'd like to, if that's okay with both of you. It's more than okay, Wade said, setting down the plant and taking her dirt-smudged hands in his. But I want to do this right. That evening, after Emma was asleep, Wade took Zara to the backyard where he'd strung lights in the old oak tree. Under the twinkling glow, he got down on one knee, holding a small velvet box. This was my grandmother's, he said, opening the box to reveal a vintage diamond ring. Nothing fancy or expensive, but given with all the love in the world. Zara Winters, you crashed into my truck and then into my heart. Will you marry me? Tears filled Zara's eyes as she nodded. Yes, absolutely yes. The wedding was small and perfect, held in Wade's now their backyard. Emma served as flower girl and self-appointed junior bride, insisting on a miniature version of Zara's simple gown. During the reception, Zara's board chairman approached her, champagne in hand. Never thought I'd see the day, he said. You're glowing, Zara. Happy looks good on you. Thank you, Richard, Zara replied, watching as Wade twirled Emma on the dance floor. Turns out there's more to life than quarterly reports. Speaking of which, Richard said, the board has been discussing your work schedule. We think it's time you had a proper work-life balance. You've built something remarkable. Let your executive team shoulder more of the day-to-day. Zara looked at him in surprise. Are you telling me to work less? Richard smiled. I'm telling you we value you enough to want you happy and healthy for the long haul. 3 days in the office, 2 working remotely. What do you say? Across the yard, Wade caught her eye, giving her a questioning look. She smiled and nodded to let him know everything was fine. I say that sounds perfect, Zara told Richard. Later that night, as they danced under the stars, Wade held her close. Happy, Mrs. Russell. Happier than I ever imagined possible, Zara replied, resting her head on his shoulder. 1 year after the wedding, Zara's reduced schedule had become the new normal. She was just as effective a CEO, perhaps even more so, now that she had perspective on what truly mattered. Wade's business had expanded to employ 8 people, with a growing reputation for quality eco-friendly renovations, and their family was growing too. Zara placed Wade's hand on her still flat stomach as they sat on the porch swing one evening, Emma inside working on a school project. Really, Wade whispered, his eyes filling with tears. We're having a baby, Zara nodded, her own eyes damp. 12 weeks along, everything looks perfect. Wade gathered her in his arms, laughing and crying at once. I love you so much, both of you, all 3 of you. Should we tell Emma now? Zara asked. Wade nodded. She's been asking for a sibling since our 3rd date. When they told her, Emma's reaction was predictably enthusiastic. She immediately began planning how to rearrange her room to accommodate a crib, despite their assurances that the baby would have its own nursery. That night, as they lay in bed, Wade traced patterns on Zara's stomach. "When I was standing at that intersection watching my truck crumple, I thought it was the worst day. Turns out it was the best day of my life. It brought you to us." Zara curled into his embrace. "The universe works in strange ways." "I'm just grateful it crashed us together," Wade murmured, kissing her forehead. 7 months later, they welcomed James Wade Russell into the world, a sturdy boy with his father's eyes and his mother's determined chin. Emma took her role as big sister seriously, reading to him daily even though he was far too young to understand. Zara took 4 months of maternity leave, a policy she'd implemented company-wide after experiencing firsthand the importance of those early bonding days. When she returned to work, it was with a renewed perspective on leadership and what it meant to build something lasting. One evening, as Wade gave James his bath and Zara helped Emma with her science homework, Wade's phone rang. It was a potential client, the largest sustainable living community developer in the region, interested in having Russell Eco Construction handle their upcoming project. "This could be huge for us," Wade told Zara later, his expression a mix of excitement and apprehension. "It would mean hiring more people, expanding our equipment, taking on more risk. But also more reward," Zara pointed out. "Your company is ready, Wade. You've built something solid step by careful step." Wade nodded slowly. "Like our family." "Exactly like our family," Zara agreed, leaning in to kiss him. 2 years later, Russell Eco Construction had become one of the leading sustainable building companies in the state, known for its innovative approaches and impeccable craftsmanship. Wade had opened a showroom downtown where clients could see examples of eco-friendly materials and systems. Zara continued to lead Winters' innovation technologies, though she'd promoted several promising executives to share leadership responsibilities, creating a more collaborative approach that had actually improved their market position. Their home had expanded too, not to a mansion, but to a larger house in the same neighborhood, with a big backyard for the children and a home office they shared. They'd renovated it together, incorporating all of Wade's eco-friendly innovations while maintaining the warm, lived-in feeling that made it truly home. On the 5th anniversary of their fateful accident, Wade surprised Zara with a weekend trip to a mountain cabin. Emma, now 11 and fiercely independent, was staying with her best friend, while 2-year-old James was having a grandpa weekend with Wade's father. "Remember our first real conversation?" Wade asked as they sat on the cabin's porch, watching the sunset. "In your office, when you asked what I sacrificed for Emma, and I asked what you sacrificed for your company," Zara nodded, leaning into his embrace. "I remember thinking you were the first person who really saw me, not the CEO, just me." Wade kissed her temple. "I saw the woman who would become my wife, my partner, the mother of our children, and the love of my life. All because you were in the wrong intersection at the wrong time," Zara mused. "Or exactly the right intersection at exactly the right time," Wade corrected her, taking her hand. "Depends on how you look at it." Zara squeezed his hand, thinking of their beautiful, chaotic life, Emma's science competitions and James's first steps, business challenges and family movie nights, the arguments and reconciliations, the quiet moments and loud celebrations. "I think," she said softly, "it was the perfect collision." Wade smiled, pulling her closer as the stars began to appear overhead. "The best crash that ever happened." "The only one I'm grateful for," Zara agreed, resting her head on his shoulder as night fell around them, wrapped in the certainty of a love that had come unexpectedly but would last forever.